You ever seen a school gym so packed it felt like it had a heartbeat? That was the scene that Friday morning at Jefferson High in the quiet town of Cedar Glen, Georgia. The kind of town where most people still knew each other by name, and the local diner still had a chalkboard menu. On that particular morning, nearly everyone in town had shown up for the annual Community Heroes Assembly, a feel-good tradition meant to recognize local first responders and a few top-performing students. Nothing more than a wholesome hour, at least on paper. Parents fanned themselves with church bulletins while sitting in rows of collapsible chairs. Teachers buzzed around, adjusting neckties and smoothing skirts, herding kids into formation while the janitor polished the gym floor one last time. The scent in the air was a mix of lemony floor wax, cheap cologne, and whatever the cafeteria was baking, something warm and cinnamon sweet. 14-year-old Malik Carter stood at the front of the student section, his posture perfect, shoes shining like he'd stepped out of a catalog. His mother had bought him a crisp button-up just for the event, and his uncle had driven him across town for a $40 haircut that took nearly 2 hours at Reggie's barbershop. Malik wasn't nervous, but he was alert. He wasn't the type to stir the pot. Top of his class, president of the debate team, chess captain. The kind of kid teachers fought over for end-of-year awards. But something about that morning had set him on edge. His mother, Vanessa, had gripped his hand tighter than usual when she dropped him off. She hadn't said much, just whispered, "Be careful today," with a weight in her voice that clung to him all through homeroom. He couldn't explain it. He just felt something hanging in the air. At the podium, Principal Green tapped the microphone, flinching at the feedback squeal. "Thank you all for being here," he said, managing a tight smile. "Today, we're not just celebrating our amazing students. We're honoring the people who keep Cedar Glen safe, our firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement." He paused for effect. "Please welcome Sheriff Nolan Brewer." The applause was polite, measured. A few people stood. Some clapped harder than others, especially the students whose parents worked down at the sheriff's office. Then he walked out. Sheriff Brewer was built like he belonged in a poster for a Western. Tall, square-jawed, silver buzzcut, mirrored sunglasses, and boots that echoed like thunder on the gym floor. He approached the microphone with the swagger of someone who'd never been told no. "Thank you," he said, removing his shades. "I canceled a lot of meetings to be here today because this," he gestured toward the crowd, "this is the future. But being part of the future means understanding what came before. Leadership," he continued, "starts with knowing your place, respecting those above you, and not rewriting history to fit a narrative." The teachers exchanged glances. Malik's eyebrows pinched. He didn't expect to hear a history lesson at a pep rally. "Now, back in my day," Brewer went on, "we were taught to stand when elders entered a room. We didn't talk back. And we sure didn't let people twist this country's past to make excuses." He let those words hang heavy. Some folks today want to tell you America was built on slavery, not hard work. That's just not the truth. Malik's hand rose before he even thought about it. One hand, calm, steady. The entire gym shifted. The crowd hushed, sensing something shift. The sheriff's tone faltered. "Yes, son. With respect," Malik said evenly, "there's overwhelming historical evidence that slavery was foundational to the economy, especially in the South. Economists, scholars, they all agree. It wasn't just a part of the story. It was the story." A few teachers inhaled sharply. Ms. Jensen, Malik's history teacher, froze where she stood. She recognized that tone in his voice, careful, respectful, factual. Sheriff Brewer took one step down from the podium. "You trying to lecture me, boy?" "I'm not lecturing," Malik answered, softer now. "Just clarifying." Brewer's eyes narrowed. "You think," he repeated with disdain. "Well, there's your first mistake. You don't think when grown folks are talking." A few students chuckled nervously. The sheriff took another step forward. "You calling me a liar?" "No, sir. I'm saying what you said is inaccurate." Crack. The slap was sudden and sharp, an open-handed strike across Malik's face that echoed like a firecracker. His glasses flew off, one lens skidding across the floor. He stumbled but didn't fall. Gasps shot through the room, real and raw. Phones came out, thumbs fumbling for record buttons. Sheriff Brewer didn't flinch. He adjusted his jacket like he'd just swatted a fly. He turned back toward the podium when the gym doors burst open behind him. Clap, clap, clap. 3 slow claps echoed through the space. Everyone turned. In walked a woman in military green, her posture rigid, her expression unreadable. The sun glinted off the stars on her collar. Flanking her were 2 plainclothes security officers, silent and watchful. She didn't speak immediately. She just kept clapping. Deliberate, cutting claps that sliced through the stunned silence. Sheriff Brewer's face lost color. Then she spoke. "I came here today to talk about leadership," she said, her voice smooth and commanding. "But it turns out I don't need to." She turned toward the students. "Because one of you just demonstrated more courage and integrity than most people do in a lifetime." She turned to Brewer. "You assaulted a student in front of witnesses. In a public school. For correcting a lie. That's not leadership. That's abuse." Principal Green looked ready to pass out. The gym had gone beyond silent. People weren't breathing. The woman continued. "My name is Commander Jocelyn Ward, Secretary of National Security. Born and raised 3 blocks from here. Graduate of this very school. And I didn't come here for politics. I came here to tell these kids the truth matters." She turned back to Malik. "You all right?" Malik nodded faintly. She handed him a handkerchief. "You held your ground. You showed strength. Don't let anyone dim that light." Sheriff Brewer tried to slip away, but Commander Ward's security detail blocked the exits. Cameras rolled. Phones flashed. And Brewer, once the town's most untouchable figure, now stood cornered like a man on trial. The video went viral before the gym even emptied. Malik's name trended within hours. News vans arrived before dusk. By nightfall, his family's porch light was off, the blinds drawn, and police patrols reluctantly stationed outside. The backlash came fast. Death threats, racial slurs, a Confederate flag tossed on the lawn. His mother reported it. Police didn't show for 3 hours. And yet, amid the vitriol came waves of support. Letters from strangers, teachers across the country, students in other towns. Some said they saw themselves in Malik. Others said they wished they had his bravery. The school board held emergency meetings. Sheriff Brewer was placed on leave. But no apology came. No explanation. Just silence. Meanwhile, Malik went back to class. People stared. Some whispered encouragement. Others glared. His classmates were divided. Some called him a hero, others a troublemaker. At home, Malik tried to disappear. But the world had seen him now. He couldn't unspeak the truth. Then came the town hall, held in the same gym where it all began. Cameras lined the back wall. Locals filled every seat. Malik didn't plan to speak, but when his name was called, he stood. Walked up to the mic. "My name is Malik Carter," he said. "I didn't raise my hand to be disrespectful. I raised it because I believed I was allowed to ask questions. Because that's what learning is supposed to be." He paused. The crowd held its breath. "I told the truth. And I got slapped. And now people want to argue whether I deserved it. But what does that say? That truth only matters when it's comfortable." The gym erupted in applause. His mother wept in the third row. 2 weeks later, Sheriff Brewer resigned quietly. No farewell speech. Just a typed letter. But his exit wasn't the victory. The victory was the shift. History classes started teaching more than just dates. Students talked more openly. Teachers stopped skimming over uncomfortable chapters. And Malik? He joined the school's new student advisory board. Ms. Jensen became principal. The halls didn't forget. When the new sheriff was sworn in, the town showed up. Donna Bellamy, retired investigator, fair, fierce, and Cedar Glen's first black female sheriff. Her words, "No badge gives you the right to silence truth. And no child should fear raising their hand." Malik didn't go back to normal. He couldn't. He still flinched when someone shouted. He still checked over his shoulder when walking home. But he kept raising his hand. And one afternoon, a boy named Miles, quiet, always alone, walked up to him and said, "Thanks for that day." "For what?" "For showing me we could speak up." Malik smiled. "We always could. They just made it feel like we couldn't." Commander Ward returned that summer. No cameras, no press. Just her and Malik walking the halls. "You changed this place," she said. "I didn't mean to," he replied. "Exactly," she smiled. "That's how the best change happens." Before she left, she gave him a book, James Baldwin. Dog-eared, underlined. "Keep reading. Keep questioning. And when they try to silence you, speak louder." And Malik did. Because this wasn't just about a slap or a sheriff. It was about power. It was about truth. And it was about what happens when one kid, just one, raises his hand and refuses to put it down.